If I had said you that 104 passengers disappeared suddenly, would you believe me? And if I said you that the passengers had time traveled, would you still believe me? You can even believe that horses grow horns, pigs have wings, or a man born on October 36th and RCB winning the cup. But you will not certainly believe the story of the time travel train. The train and the passengers in it had disappeared, and there are inscriptions that date back to hundreds of years about the same train. And there is another proof of the train being seen 40 years later, and then was seen recently too. But those who saw the train did not notice from where the train had come and how did it leave. That's not the only mystery. The train was spotted in different places across the globe. And to know what actually happened, we have to time travel to the past to learn about his time travel train. So, without further ado, let's begin the video. The year we will be going is 1911 and the date is June 14th. Location, Rome, Italy. Here, a newly established train company named Zanetti wanted to promote its train and thus started a marketing campaign. The campaign was that the train would carry 100 wealthy families of Rome and luxury coaches for free, as it was the debut journey of its train. And the luxury train contained all facilities including expensive wines, huge dining halls and delicious food. And the 100 passengers were accompanied by 6 crew members. So, totally 106 members were traveling in the train named Zanetti. But the destination was not told to any of the passengers, and they had said that the destination was a surprise. But everyone knew that the journey was very long and had to pass through various tunnels and various bridges. And after the 100 wealthy people had come, the train departed from Rome on the announced time on June 14th. And the passengers were happily enjoying thereby playing cards, drinking wine, dancing, singing and finding new friends. Needless to say, they were having the time of their life. As I have said it was a long journey and the train had to go through several tunnels. And one such tunnel was the tunnel in Lombard. This tunnel in Lombard was very long and extensive. And when the train was approaching this tunnel, the air outside the train turned into black smoke. And after seeing this sight outside the train, few passengers were in panic. And the other passengers became mad and started behaving in a bizarre manner. They started fighting with each other, then started banging their heads on the wall of the train and then started dripping their shirts off. And the train went inside the tunnel. But never came out of the tunnel. That's it. 104 passengers had disappeared. But if you had carefully listened, I had said that there were 100 passengers and 6 crew, which adds up to 106. But the number of people disappeared was 104. What happened to the remaining 2 people? Well, just before the train was about to enter the tunnel, 2 people were alert and knew that they were surrounded by strange people and black smoke. They knew something was going to happen. And since trains were newly introduced forms of transport, the 2 men jumped off from the running train in anxiety. And both of them were badly injured while jumping from the fast train and were lying unconsciously near the track. But still they managed to survive and the number of passengers reduced from 106 to 104. And this train with 104 passengers went through the tunnel, but never came outside. And there was a team of people in the destination to welcome the train, but the train had not reached the destination. And the team immediately alerted the police. The policemen came to know that the train has not been seen in any of the stations after the Lombard tunnel. So, few policemen went to the tunnel to see what happened, and in the process, they found the 2 people who had jumped from the train and were still unconscious and took them to the police station. After both of them recovered, both of them told what had happened inside the train before passing through the tunnel. Black smoke had come, people started behaving strangely, etc. And many passers-by saw the train entering the tunnel, but no one saw the train exiting the tunnel. Where could the train be? Few may think in a logical manner. Since the tunnel was very long and the train had just 3 coaches, the train could have been stuck inside the tunnel. This was what the police too had thought. But when they had gone inside the tunnel to see if the train was stuck inside, a shock was awaiting them. The tunnel was empty. There was no sign of the train that had entered the tunnel. This was the mysterious incident that had occurred in 1911. And the story is not over here. Few people believe that the train was no different from a time machine. The reason was that there were evidences of the train being seen in different eras and in different places. And one of them happened in medieval Italy around 400 to 600 years before the train had been discovered. What happened was few Christian priests were sitting as a group. There, a strange thing occurred and the priests wrote it in an inscription. The inscription read 3 boxes had come from nowhere and inside the train were people without beards and they were wearing strange clothes. And the priests were frightened and ran to their houses and returned back after some time to see the 3 boxes missing. This was what the priests had written. And this could mean the same 104 passengers. And since shaving beard was not common in the medieval era, the priests were puzzled. And also the modern way of clothing was new to the priests. Anyway, the next appearance of this train was in the 1840, almost 70 years before the train had been lost. And this time, the location was Mexico. They had said that 104 odd-looking Italians had come to a marketplace. And when they suspected the 104 people to be spies, the passengers told them that they did not know where they were and how they had come there. And as the passengers were carrying weird objects, or at least objects which the people in 1840s did not know, these passengers were sent to a mental asylum. And every passenger said the same story about the train journey. And the doctor who treated them told that everyone had mass insanity disorder. That's why everyone has the same thoughts. And as I had said the passengers were Italian and they had come to Mexico by train. And since one can travel through sea, not even a sea, but a huge ocean using trains, the doctor was not ready to believe their story and thus investigated the pockets of each of the 104 passengers to see if they had any ship ticket. But since the passengers had no idea where they were going to, everyone's pockets were empty. But, as soon as the doctor searched the pockets of one of the 104 passengers, he became crazy. What he found inside was a packet of cigarettes. And he looked at the manufacture date of the cigarettes, the year was 1907. And that was 67 years into the future. He had the same expression as you if you find something manufactured in 2100. But in the previous case, only the passengers were seen. What happened to the 3 coaches? This happened in another appearance of this train that occurred in 1955 in a not-so-busy railway station in Balaklava, Ukraine. And since the station was not crowded, there was only one station master or guard at the station and he was just relaxing in the station on 10 p.m. on the 29th of October and was not expecting to see any train that day. But, suddenly he heard the sound of a train approaching. And he went out to see which train was coming at the wrong and least expected time. To his shock, he could see a very old-looking dusty train which was traveling slowly along the track. When he showed the stop signal to the train driver, it did not seem to take notice of him. But, only after the train came closer and closer, the guard noticed that the number of passengers in the train were 0. And that's not the shock. The even frightening matter is that, the train had no one to drive it. And he said that the train was named Zanetti. And as he was the only person in the station, he was the only one to have seen the train, or rather claimed to have seen it. This train was last seen in 1971 in Toltova Station, Italy, which had appeared and disappeared suddenly like the previous case. After checking the Lombard tunnel to have found no one inside, the locals constructed another way that does not pass through the tunnel, and this tunnel was bombarded, blasted and demolished during the Second World War. And what people believe is that the train and the passengers could have been stuck in a time loop and would have been going to different years. And since the tunnel was demolished, it couldn't return back to where it had been lost. And this is an urban legend. Something people believe without being proven. And this question was left to the scientists. And as we all know, scientists have a reason for everything, and the answer they gave was something about the 4th dimension. And if one succeeds in understanding 4th dimension, he or she would easily travel through time. And many people believe in this. But, I am not one of them. I can say a few valid points to prove myself. I tried searching the internet for this train or the train company named Zanetti which had existed in Italy. There were no such company as far as I scrolled down. The only things I could see were articles saying the story I had said above and few YouTube videos discussing the same topic. There wasn't even a Wikipedia page on this. And according to me, why people believe in this story is because there have been several dates in the story. Like June 14, 1911. Therefore, people are psychologically suited to believe stuff involving numbers and stats. For example, you can see lots of ads using numbers like kills 99.9% germs, 100% pure, 0 fat, 0 cholesterol, 100% natural. And in this way, the probability of suspicion of these items narrows down. Still, few people say that if Zanetti was really a time machine, citizens from the future would have come to the past to hide evidences of the train in order to prevent people of the present from knowing about time travel and misusing it, and thus decided to make this story a legend even if it was true. Whatever happens, I don't believe this. But, I am not preventing you from believing this. And I will end this video with a question. If you were to take a one-way trip to any year in the past and never return back, which day of which year would you go? Unleash your creative side by answering this in the comments section. And with this question I am ending today's video. I will see you in another video. Till then, goodbye.